Hello and welcome to End to End.
The podcast where we talk about most things pony, which is probably all things pony, and a few things not. Like cheese and
I
nothing.
can't even trust you to do one thing,
Close enough.
No, you can't trust me to do one thing. I intentionally might have done that. I am your not host, Cabral, and that's Duhad who's hosting this thing.
can I? I am,
Host.
He is indeed
as always,
Duhad.
Duhad. Joining me, as I have managed to probably figure out by this point, is Cabral. We have
I'm
Lightingrabbit,
Hello.
and we've got Firebolt.
Woo!
He has no life.
So,
Gentlemen, now during this episode, there will be a little add-on at the end where I'm going to give my thoughts on the season premiere
It's a secret.
Okay.
independently, but guess what happened
so much.
as of time of recording yesterday?
Hmm.
Anyone?
Okay.
yeah,
Yesterday?
the season happened. The season happened yesterday. Yeah, the
Season
first and second,
happened. The whole thing.
the first and second episode of the fourth season came out yesterday, and we watched it.
Oh, my eye. Yes.
Indeed.
I enjoyed it quite a bit personally.
And because you people, you fans, you worms, are so bizarrely screwed up in the head that you actually want to hear what we think about
I should got dealt
that, we're going to provide that to you, that service to you. It's glorious waste of our time.
Yeah. No,
Exactly.
I
I
don't know.
like.
Anyway, sorry,
this,
tired. Anyway, I'm going to hand things up to these gentlemen, and they're going to tell you all about what they thought of the premiere, and then at the end, there'll be a little special, and I'll tell you what I, and therefore the correct interpretation of, the qualities of the premiere.
So
Yeah.
I like how the correct interpretation of the quality of prayer go with him because he knows I'm just going to ruin everything. Is he
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, to
See
be
here.
fair, Lightingrabbit
Hey.
and Firebolt would probably be able to come up with something relatively decent analysis-wise, but Cabral is in the call.
We're all this here,
Yes.
so we
Then
never
that's right.
know. It could go.
You know, I'm just going to treat this entire thing seriously now that you're not going to give your opinion in this beginning bit. I'll make fun of yours
I'm gonna
behind
come
your
back,
back.
Right.
I'm gonna come back later on during the editing and just be like, "Whoa, what?
Yeah,
how is
exactly.
this something serious
Like,
now?"
what?
So good. Okay.
Here I'd rate 2.5. You could see that. No. Anyways.
Right. Well, who wants to go first? I guess if we're gonna
Alright.
do our
I
opinions.
will
How did you like out?
He does do that quite a lot.
drop out the.
All right, he's gonna drop out then.
Is what he's trying to say, which he's already kind
He's
of.
trying to say, he's already dropped out. To be fair,
Yes.
at this point.
Right. Well, okay. I guess we can start off by at least telling. We can start off by telling people about the premise and what actually happened before we give our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Right, would definitely work.
Right, well-
and then if you want to figure out who goes first, we could just do
Who wants to-
Rochambeau.
Who wants to recap?
Huh?
Who wants to
Probably
recap the
Firebolt.
episode?
I will
fried
recap
goat.
the episode. Why not?
Okay.
All right. So the premiere of this season was entitled Princess Twilight Sparkle, episode 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off with the ponies getting ready for the Summer Sun celebration. Now,
Yes.
whether this is 1 year since the first season or several
don't know.
years, I don't know.
I think it's probably maybe a few weeks.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Anyway,
It's not
I
years.
seriously
Otherwise,
believe
you're
that
still
it's been a couple of years.
It has
but
not. Okay, there's no way because if you recall in the episode, she says, "I'm not used to royal duties." Surely by a year, she would have already had.
Well,
some
not from season 3 to season 4. From season 1 to season 4.
Because remember,
season
season 1,
Yes.
episode 1 was also the Summer Sun celebration. So
Yeah,
I'm just
so-
thinking, how many years has she been in Ponyville?
Yeah.
You're talking about season 1 there. Yeah. Okay. She's probably been there for 2.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Possibly
Every
3.
2 years, the Summer Sun celebration happens.
Well, no, I mean, they do it every year. This is just
It's just
the
you don't
second
see it
time they
every
mentioned
year.
it.
Because if it would make sense, since we haven't seen any other ones and no one's mentioned it, that it is just 1 year. But it's possible that it was more.
Well, it's just, I mean, they had the what do they have? They had the Hearthwarming Eve episode.
Oh yes, it must have been at least 1 year.
But that was season 2. But then in season 1 we had Winter Wrap Up. So
they were wrapping up winter. So wait, it must have meant that winter had just finished in season 1, and then season 2 it must have been winter again, so that must have been 1 year. But then we've had the summer sun celebration twice, so it could have been at least 2 years.
It had to have at least been 2 years, but it could have been longer than that as well.
Yeah.
Because first I saw you talking about
I always questioned why they did
season 3, season 4 is like a few weeks.
I always kind of questioned why they did this, but they had, if you realize, they had winter wrap up. Immediately afterwards, they had Call of the Cutie, and then right after that was Fall Weather Friends.
Yeah.
So it was already fall again.
It's like the seasons happen very quickly in
very, very quickly.
Like
it went from winter
quickly.
to fall, or from spring to fall. There was one episode in summer that year.
Yeah, we had like autumn immediately after.
I don't even think we can really figure out how it works. I don't think we can go by the episode.
Yeah, because they could just be completely out of order as well.
I think it was written. It wasn't written like that, but I think the way Hasbro airs it, because they air it however they like, really. So.
Well, they do have to air them in some sort of order, because
Plus,
otherwise
we might
any continuity would go out the
It
window.
is just a show for little girls, so maybe they don't really care about time span. Like,
well, they do put continuity in it, and they air them in a certain order so that continuity stays with the show.
The thing is also with the continuity only became a real issue during season 2 onwards for the most part. Season 1 doesn't have too much continuity.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of there's more continuity with the actual like friendship learning experience, because it kind of goes out the window in season 2 and 3. Because Fluttershy learns the same lesson about 6 times about how to be more assertive and not be afraid of things, but
right,
which wasn't
that's not going to stick with her.
Yeah,
but
probably
anyway,
have an episode like that here. And then...
Yeah, the point was that
should get back to season 4.
Yeah, season 4 at least. What happens, Firebolt? Tell us more.
Okay, so they're getting ready for this. So they're getting ready for the Summer Sun celebration. More of Twilight flying and stuff like that, where she's apparently not great at, but she can do it. And then as they're getting ready, there's a point in time when they go back to their room. They're going through the checklist and stuff like that. After her friends leave to go back to Ponyville, and she's left to do some more preparations and stuff like that for the Summer Sun celebration. Princess Celestia comes to talk to her about how the Summer Sun celebration is actually a happy time for her now, because
it used to be a depressing time.
Right.
Like, there is a sun again.
Yeah.
Well, no, it used to be depressing because it was a reminder of her banishing Luna to the moon, but now it's more of a celebration about her return.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, apparently.
You said this again. Can you put this picture on Skype and the video? So
this one will go in the video because it's funny. The fact that in Luna's transformation scene she pulls it's actually quite a creepy face when you see it in the episode, but she looks exactly like Mr. Sparkle from The Simpsons.
But anyway,
Sparkle.
So after she left, you see this very, very brief scene where they have a vine coming out of the ground, and you can hear Celestia gasp. So you can only
it's worse because I think they're on like the 2nd or 3rd floor of the castle.
Yeah, so it grew all the way up through the first floors.
Right. So
I think some pony would have noticed that.
Then it shifts to the scene where it's Twilight waking up Spike, and they go over to the window, and the sky is half day, half night. The moon and the sun are both out.
It's like some drug. I think this whole episode related to drugs, with how Luna looks in the picture and.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So they immediately go outside where the crowd's freaking out, and she's pulled away by 2 guards that say, "We need to talk to you." And they said that the princesses have been kidnapped, and that because Cadence is away in the Crystal Empire, it is now up to Twilight to take over.
Even though there's a crisis, don't call back another one of the princesses. Just leave her be.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I want to point out that how do they know they were kidnapped? They kind of just up and disappeared. For the most part, they could just take a vacation without telling the guards.
They disappeared, is what they actually
they
say.
said that they're gone.
Good. I was going to say, they didn't
vanish.
It's strange that they didn't get Cadence back, because you'd think that that would be enough of a crisis that she could have come down from the Crystal Empire, which isn't doing
it's
anything.
really shiny
They
armor.
have a princess. It's not like they just put Twilight up there. Twilight is now a princess, so she can do this. They don't need to call back.
Well, they could have got some reinforcements, because it's a pretty big problem. Like if they're being invaded by,
especially considering Twilight's only been a princess for like a few days.
So it could have been a few months.
It
could have been a few months. It's more likely that it would be a few months.
There's no way it's been a few months. I'm thinking a few weeks.
I mean, it could have been. Yeah, it's probably in between a few weeks and a month, because she still can't fly yet.
And apparently, the whole thing with Equestria Girls did happen, according to what they've said.
Wait! I thought they were including that at all in this.
It's not. It's canon that it happened. It's not nothing that happened is canon, but it's canon that it did. She did go there.
The rest of the world in Equestria doesn't actually know about it, but the fact is that bit did happen.
All right, let's continue recapping.
Right. So anyway, she ends up going back to Ponyville to try to figure out what's going on and gather the rest of the elements of harmony.
Elephants of harmony.
Back to Cabral fails with the heffalumps. You missed that.
And so they make it back to Equestria after flying there, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. Even though she couldn't fly earlier.
She flies there and meets up with the rest of her friends and starts saying things that she's like, okay, well, there's weird weather patterns, half day, half night, stuff like that, and she thinks she knows who she's dealing with at that point in time.
Right, guys.
And so she goes, and apparently they need the elements to summon him, which I'm like, doesn't he live somewhere, like, doesn't he live with Fluttershy still?
Clearly.
Yeah, I thought he did, but I don't get why they have to summon him, because he did. I thought he lived in the same universe as them. I didn't think they have to summon him out of a...
I'm sure he does, but the thing is, it's probably just for convenience as well as plot convenience for the most part, just to have an ability to summon him on a whim. So
yeah, they can't anymore. That's the thing, because they got rid of the elements, didn't they, at the end?
No,
spoilers.
I was gonna get into this a little bit later, but I loved when they summoned him and he was singing the Winter Wrap-Up song.
Yeah, that was quite fun.
That was great.
After the recap, we should all give our opinions. I call first because I kind of have to go at like 40 minutes.
Yeah, okay, you can do yours first, Dale.
But let's get the recap done though. So anyway, they talked to him a little bit about it. He denies any any accusations or whatever, and points them to Zecora, who has just come out of the Everfree Forest because she's been driven away by the forest or whatever.
Yeah.
And she happens to have this magic potion.
Convenience.
I don't know where she got it, or if she made it or something. But
she just happens to have it.
Only be powered by alicorn magic, and so I don't know why she even has this potion.
Yeah.
So
the things you pick up in junk shops.
Exactly. You know what happens? I bet with Zecora, she probably just wins all this stuff because her friends are all just heavy gamblers, so she's just really good at gambling. She just happens to win all this random crap.
She must have gone to a thrift shop and she was like, "Oh, that looks cool. Just buy that."
Probably
and
is.
So Twilight powers up this potion with what appears to be dark magic. I'm sorry, it looked like dark magic.
It is definitely dark
Apparently,
magic.
this is what alicorn magic actually looks like. All the time they've been using normal magic. That wasn't actually alicorn magic. It was special alicorn magic.
So apparently she was using dark magic on it, and it changed it into this potion where she can go back in time.
Now this is the cool
thing. First of all, she went and saw the fall of Luna and how she became the Iremu in the first place. They saw the original banishment of Discord, or the first time they defeated Discord and turned him into stone.
That pinned the tail on the pony reference.
And they revealed where they got the elements of harmony from, which is supposed to be the Tree of Harmony in the Forest. I think those are the three.
Yeah, those are the ones, yeah.
Which the last one was just kind of sudden.
They come up with the idea that, okay, well, we need to go to this tree because there's obviously something happening to it. So they go into the Everfree Forest, fight a crocodile, and...
Fight a crocodile? I thought it was a rockodile.
I think that it should have been called a crocodile, but after going, I'm pretty sure they say crocodile in the.
No,
they say crag. They say crag.
Craggadile?
Yeah,
Craggadilly.
Yeah.
Craggadilly. Yes. All right.
What a weird name.
I'm sorry. That was just what Applejack said, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then they send Twilight away originally because they're afraid of losing her.
They're afraid of one of the most powerful equines in Equestria coming to harm.
Right. And then, so they continue on. She goes back and talks to Discord, who plays some mind games on her and makes her go back into the forest.
It's kind of like a backhanded way of helping.
Huh?
It's like a backhanded way of helping.
Right. And so she goes back into the forest and gets attacked by these plants. Now, I can't remember for the life of me where I've seen these plants before, but I swear to God, they look exactly like a plant that I've seen in another movie.
Venus flytrap?
No, in another movie. They actually have the same design.
The Little Shop of Horrors?
No, I can't. Like I said, I can't remember.
It does look familiar. I looked at it and I thought, have I seen them before? But
I've seen those in some other movie before, and I can't remember which one it was.
I'm sure they look familiar to me, but I can't tell where I've seen them before.
MOP does have references to old stuff, so it probably is.
But I
not
couldn't
old
tell.
though. It was relatively new. It's something new. But yeah, the plants look exactly like something I've seen in a movie recently.
And I'm guessing they spray
produced by M. Night
sleeping.
Shyamalan?
No, I don't think so. If it was, I wouldn't have watched it. But yeah, they spray like sleeping gas or something, don't they? Which is weird.
Well, yeah. That's not.
I have to say,
the one that I'm thinking of, they didn't actually do that, but
Yeah,
you know,
but in this one they do. I mean.
Yeah, and MOP.
Anyways, when I have to say though, when they round all of them up in one thing, and this one's after Pinkie Pie, and then Twilight just shoots it, the expression on her face, she's just so like straight face and just like, I'm done with this, just kills it in the on the spot. She's like, I'm just done. Just kills it.
Yeah. Pew.
Well, yeah.
It was about to eat Pinkie though, so you kind of have to make the choice then.
So she almost hit Pinkie, and just her expression, just like there, it's dead. Done with this.
I'd like to think she has a good shot. It's fairly easy, I would have thought, to aim your horn, because you just have to look at something, because it's in the same direction.
Looking up towards the sky, so you have to lower your head a little bit.
I know, but I mean, like, once you've lowered your head, you can look around with it.
So anyway,
Your head?
they save Twilight. The other main six are able to save Twilight because Spike goes to find them, and they come and save her. And then they all travel to this
tree,
I guess cave or whatever, where the Tree of Harmony is located.
It wasn't a cave.
And it's being covered by vines and whatnot. And so the Twilight makes the decision to let's get rid of let's give the elements of harmony back to the tree.
To business.
This tree can now have our elements.
Well, they need to in order to solve this crisis, and it's a pretty big plot point now that they don't have the elements of harmony anymore.
They've got to deal with all of these bad things that could happen without any sort of thing except for their friendship and their own natural abilities. Because it was a kind of trump card.
Were able to, the elements didn't help against Chrysalis, so I mean
That's
they
true,
can.
yeah.
But anyway,
that was still very OP magic that stopped her.
So here's the thing. They gave the elements of harmony back. The vines all disappeared, and it turns out that Princess Luna and Princess Celestia were being held captive at the Tree of Harmony.
Which I completely called, because I saw two bundles of vines, and I was like, I wonder where the princesses could be. I saw the bundles, and I was like, yeah, that's where they are.
Yeah, that's
and
where
then,
they are. Doesn't make any sense why they're just there.
The very end of the episode, out of nowhere, this flower grows from the Tree of Harmony, opens up to reveal this box with 6 keyholes.
It's going to be in it, the new elements of harmony.
Yeah, who the hell knows what's going to be in there? Anyway, so now, and then they all look at Celestia, who's like, I have no idea where they are.
Yeah, wait, but does Celestia know what's in it? She never said she didn't know what was in it.
Probably for a good reason.
I'm pretty sure they don't know what's in it either.
Probably doesn't know, but she obviously saw. Well, she's like, because Luna reveals the obvious: 6 keys.
Wow, there's 6 keys.
She's like, well, you have 6 friends. Have fun.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and so that's pretty much all they go into is that okay, there's 6 keys. Twilight, yeah, Twilight, you and your friends, you go and figure that whole
Sort
thing
this out.
out.
I'm gonna go drink a large cup of coffee.
And then at the very end of the episode is them, doing the Summer Sun celebration where Twilight apparently can pull off a sonic
Magic boom.
thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but yeah. I'm not sure why that was necessary to raise the sun and moon. It looked quite nice, but it's just like, well, we need to get Twilight to do something now.
Well, there's
So-
got to be something when Twilight is like when the sun is going down and or when the moon is going down, the sun is coming up. That's Twilight.
Yeah, it's the perfect thing for her, but I mean, it doesn't really represent Twilight very well. Just having a, I mean, it does kind of because purple is the color the sky kind of goes when it's Twilight, but it's still kind of like, well, giant star in the sky doesn't exactly represent.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that. You have Celestia, Luna, so you have Celestia as like dawn, and then Luna's like dusk, and then you have Twilight, which is in between.
Yeah, they're all color coded, so you can easily identify them.
Yes.
My goodness, I just realized this.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, that's a thing. Now, there was also a fight scene, which I don't think we mentioned, but that happens as well.
Well, yeah,
That was
I kind of went. I was kind of.
Yeah, we can discuss that.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. AR, I want you to go ahead and give your thoughts because you have to leave in a short while.
Awesome. Yes, now then, the season 4 opening. First off, I was upset because I called it on the intro being the exact same with Duct-Taped Wing, Twilight, and a few more characters. I am glad, though, that they kept Derpy inside that train.
Yeah.
And Discord, if you look in Fluttershy's house, there he is.
And also, Luna's on the thing now, which took 3 seasons for them to do. It took 3 seasons
a vital
to do that.
character.
Yeah, she only just managed to become a vital character.
Exactly. Definitely, was a bit upset at that, but again, it's My Little Pony, and what else are they going to do for an intro?
To be honest, I was not upset at all. They never change it drastically. Like between season 1 and season 2 there's a change, but it's not a drastic change. I didn't expect a drastic change, but they did change it enough where I'm like, it's new. They've added a couple new things, and I really like what they did.
Twilights and some characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Anyways, the episode itself, you know what? It was quite entertaining. I was reading a lot with comments and people, and I watched the live stream. A lot of people were saying that Twilight and her friends seemed a little bit over characterized, and they were out of character as well, which don't match up too much. But they said a lot of the time it seemed like they were really out of character, which I can see, because they weren't acting the way they should. But then again, counterpoint to that, they were acting differently because Twilight just became a princess, and how the hell are you going to react when one of your friends becomes royalty?
Yeah. Well,
so some ways you do things are going to change a little bit.
I mean, I was quite kind of surprised that they were just like, no, you can't be here, you have to leave because you're a princess and we can't... Like, I kind of understand where they were coming from because as you become more important, you tend to get involved in the action less because they don't want you getting hurt, but
yeah,
at the same time, I didn't think...
around with the sidearm.
Well, at the same time, this is relatively new for them. I can see them over time seeing that Twilight hasn't changed any, and that she's still, the same person, the same.
There's the future episode right there.
I was actually surprised about how they reacted, because to be honest,
and so maybe it'll go back to the way it used to be, where they're not worried about her too much because they know she can handle herself.
Yeah.
And they know that she's not going to listen to him anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, that whole scene was a little bit weird because I wasn't expecting them to send her away, and then as soon as she went back, she instantly changed her mind just from a few words that Discord said, and she went back again. I know they don't have much time to get it all out of the way in the episode, but it was a very quick conflict.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. She didn't want to leave in the first place. She really probably didn't even need that much persuasion to say, fuck it, I'm going anyway.
And it's true. I'm going to have to bleep that now. But yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's true that, to an extent, like, I've had situations where I've been like, actually, no, I'll do it. You do make decisions very quickly if you're already kind of thinking about doing it anyway. So she probably did just, like, have a really quick change of heart. It does happen.
That kind of happened with me. I was doing paper on one time, and this was the most My Little Dashie-esque scene I have ever been in my entire life. Because I'm delivering papers at like 3 in the morning. This is relevant just because it was so like relevance to that in some ways, just like the feeling of it changing my mind and everything. Because like I kept walking back and forth, literally trying to bait it. Because I'm delivering papers like 3 in the morning. It's pitch black, no one's around. The street lights on. It's a bit foggy, and I see a cardboard box on the sidewalk, and there's no one around, and I'm just looking. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I walk back to my car, go get more papers, and I go back to the direction of the box. Then I go back to the direction of my car. Then I just go to the box, and disappointment filled the entire box of emptiness and some condoms, possibly.
Yeah. Lovely. But yeah,
anyways,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's split-second decisions like that. I think people were saying, "Oh, Twilight was too like quick to change their mind," but people are like that. Like it worked okay because that's what people are actually like a lot of the time. They can make split-second decisions and think, "Oh no, that was stupid. I'll go back and change it."
Exactly. I have to tell Rob Cakeran about that whole scene. But anyways, moving on. I did like, however, that Twilight can't fly. I found it humorous because she kept crashing everywhere, and I don't know why I found that humorous.
Okay.
People's failures, like my own, are quite humorous for some reason. But anyways, moving on again. I do feel that what was I? Where was it going with this? With Princess Celestia and the whole raising the sun thing and moon. It was a nice little touch to the whole thing. I liked how they kept relevance that yes, it's finally because okay, you know what? Now that I think about it, we were talking about years earlier. She said this is the first summer sun celebration in which I can celebrate. So this is 1 year after the events of the whole beginning of the show, because it has to be. Otherwise, Luna would have been involved in the other sun summer show.
It's possible, yeah. That would make sense actually now that you say that.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, she would have had Luna another one. She said, "Oh, this will be the second one," and then eventually she'd be like, "Oh, it's the third one, fourth
It's
one."
possible that she just didn't get involved in the other ones because she'd only just come back. She was still kind of getting acclimatized for a couple of years.
Well,
But I mean, I do
so,
see what you
Celestia
mean.
would probably be thrilled and overjoyed to have Luna join these again. So she'd probably have her right back at the first one, more than likely.
Yeah, it
Even
does seem a
so,
little strange that she would say that and it wouldn't be the first one. So I'm guessing it must have been.
So it must have been 1 year since. So in the year of going to Ponyville, Twilight became a princess. Huh.
Well,
Interesting.
It happens.
Yeah, only on the hub. But anyways, actually, which makes sense again, actually, because we go back to season 1 with all the mishmash of the fall weather friends and everything else that happened. And season 2 is involved in that too, I guess. But anyways, they could have just been random moments of the year.
Yeah, they could have been.
Could have been.
It has to be chronological in episode canonical order. And that's
Canon.
Anyways, yes. After much discussion and figuring out that it's only been a year since that return.
Yeah, we talked so much about that.
There is terrible plot convenience in this. A lot of it, actually.
Like what?
Well, first off, Twilight crashed into her home, and the other ponies having to be reading books by crashing into the window, which was quite humorous. I did like that.
They all had the same idea. They were like, right, we've got to go and like sort this out.
Yes, let's sort this out. Good thing Twilight leaves her door unlocked. Let's go in.
Yeah, that was a bit strange that they just. Although that's a point actually, because Twilight owns the library. That was her job. So surely they would have gotten someone else to do that now that she's not there anymore.
No, she is there though. Remember, because they were just talking. Well,
no, but they said that she wouldn't be there as much because she was like she's a princess now.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
Maybe she does live in. I don't know. They didn't really go over if she's still living in Ponyville.
She's gonna rule Ponyville. She is gonna be the ruler of Ponyville. Is what's gonna happen with it.
Well, that's such a terrible thing, isn't it? Like everyone else is like the leader of the whole country or the leader of the Crystal Empire, and she's just the leader of the library. That's her job.
I rule the library with an iron hoof and Spike.
And Spike.
Anyways, but yeah, that is a point. I do think that she's probably going to get more royal duties and therefore probably stay in canon a lot bit more, or at least fly back and forth more often and probably crash into trees along the way.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Anyways, Twilight seems to have gotten control of her flying ability towards the end, which I feel a bit jipped. But again, plot convenience, back to what I was talking about, because summoning Discord, he did say it is not his fault, which is a complete lie. It is his fault, according to the flashbacks. He planted
technically it was his fault, yeah, but that's...
Technically, he didn't mean it to take as long as it did.
Yeah, so technically it was his fault, but technically also he didn't mean for it to take that... Well, it was technically his fault, but it's been a long time since he did it, so...
Right, and he wasn't reformed back when he did it, so...
Yeah.
Even so...
So it wasn't a thing that in recent memory was his fault.
Yeah, although he probably knew. He probably should have recognized the plants.
Oh, he knew. He knew. He just didn't tell
Exactly.
him.
Again,
Yeah.
so again, he blatantly lied in front of them, and Fluttershy believed the lie like she always does.
Well, yeah, because
So see, people were complaining about not
that's
saying.
their relationship that they have.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the thing, though. You need to have a group of people where there's two people who are two ends of the extreme, and so they counterbalance each other out. Fluttershy is extremely trusting, and someone like Rainbow Dash isn't very trusting at all of someone like Discord.
I mean,
so
she's loyal.
well, that's what I'm saying. No, but I mean, she's not trusting of Discord.
There
So
you go.
in
She's
that,
not trusting of others.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Especially
but
with those with the past.
so it's
like
good because that way you get that kind of counterbalance of
Yeah.
like
Otherwise, you get people like
Fluttershy
me and Lightning. If we trust everything we hear, then the world would just go into utter chaos. Then there's
Yeah.
Duhad, on the other hand.
yeah
Tail, wing.
somewhere.
Anyways.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And again, people were complaining about not staying in character. Well, actually, Fluttershy stayed in character fairly well throughout this whole thing. Again, she was lied to and trusted Discord, which happened in the other episode as well.
Yeah, she's getting better, but she's still not there.
She's not there, and I don't think she'll ever get there until maybe towards the end of the season.
She's also living on a prayer.
Back to plot convenience. Zecora coming out of the Everfree Forest, which I don't know how she's able to carry every single thing that she buys from the thrift shops out of her house into Ponyville and not get eaten by a plant or a crocodile thing.
A crocodile.
And plot convenience, because she has something which only an alicorn can use, which I think she just won it in a bet.
It's entirely possible.
It is. I think Zecora is just secretly going around and betting like the outcomes of all the episodes of My Little Pony and just winning all the bets against like Trixie or some other pony.
Yeah, but I think that everyone stayed in character fairly well.
Yeah, and again, with the new situation change, with Twilight becoming a princess and everything, they're going to react differently. In which, back to plot convenience, Zecora has the stuff and like, well, it's something strange and you don't know what's going to happen, let's drink it, okay. Also, changing the color of a potion doesn't seem like something that would require alicorn magic, just my personal opinion. Just get some dye. Surely you can do that, or heck, even bleach would work.
Yeah, that's true.
Which might be poisonous. But the point of the fact of the matter is, I like Twilight crying and Discord recording it on paper, because that is now the new iPhone. Brilliantly. Yeah. It had the baby sound effects and everything to it. But I have to say, the fight with Luna versus Celestia,
that
which
was
is
the best bit. Best bit ever.
It was really good.
I love
that
scene.
one was really good.
Very well done.
It was very well emotionally charged, along with there was loads of action and an alicorn fight, which is just cool.
The only problem is it was short. Like, quite literally, in the old Mare's Tale, I suppose, of Nightmare Moon, as well as the first episode, they made Nightmare Moon seem like a real large, giant threat that reigned for, like, maybe a few years. No! She reigned for all of 20 minutes before being blasted into the moon.
It was more like 5 minutes.
Even so, I'm just taking, like, if it was in the actual universe, it's probably only, like, 20 minutes. They just, hastened everything.
We saw it in real time. It happened in real time. It was like 5 minutes. Not even.
Well, anyways, her reign was
the actual length of it, I think.
Yeah. Well, anyways, her reign was all of like 5 minutes, which it wasn't even a threat to begin with. So the only thing that is the issue with Nightmare Moon,
it was a threat because she did like throw laser beams at her.
Well, exactly, no, I mean, here's the thing: is that Nightmare Moon was a threat. Whether she reigned for 5 minutes or 5 years, it doesn't matter because she was going to, she was going to bring on Eternal Night. Yeah, because Celestia just happened to stop her right away instead of, a couple years later.
Now, I'm just saying that, though, because the episode made it seem like more of a bigger issue, which it was. However, it wasn't at the same time because Celestia dealt with it so quickly. The only thing from Nightmare Moon to be gained is Celestia's, emotional terribleness of
And to be fair, Celestia wouldn't have won without the elements.
It's as true as... well...
She did get shot in the chest and almost died.
Well, she wasn't even injured. If you looked at her, she wasn't even scuffed or covered. Also, plot convenience again. She's next to the Elements of Harmony.
Well, it was in the same throne room, though, so...
Even so, she lands right next to them.
Well, actually, what's really funny about that is that I'm reminded of the Lullaby for Princess Animatic, which is like the same
Actually,
exact
yeah.
thing.
They must have heard that song too.
Yeah.
But anyway, more plot convenience later. She ends up shooting Luna to the moon, and
To the
Twilight wakes up
moon.
like, to the moon.
That was instantly what I thought of. When I saw that, I was thinking, I'm sure someone's going to do the to the moon thing.
Yeah. And
You ain't gonna be finding no bananas on the moon.
exactly. And I think again also with the elements of harmony, they've only been used on two main villains, antagonists, I suppose I should say, Nightmare Moon and Discord. Other than that, in which they've been used twice on both the characters. And I have to say though, those are the only villains that the elements of harmony seem to work on. We said they were all powerful and everything like that. Well, they defended Equestria from various multiple things without the elements of harmony, so they should be fine regardless.
Yeah,
Whereas
they
in
should
Discord,
be.
on
I expect so.
they've dealt without them before, but I mean it is.
Well, the thing is, Equestria has managed without them before, like the whole chrysalis
But I
incident.
mean the whole thing. The one thing I'm kind of
they have
disappointed
the power
with
of
is
love.
they just had this Equestria Girls thing where they talked about the importance of the elements of harmony.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
where how
And I
they
was
had
like,
the
oh,
power to like destroy worlds or like conquer other worlds or something like that.
And they
yeah,
said that without her crown, the power of the elements, Equestria is left without one of its
And so now they've
most
just gone and
powerful.
gotten rid of it anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
um,
Plot convenience again. Um, Anyways, the Discord scene itself, I enjoyed it quite a bit, mostly because again we get to see Discord and everything, as well as him taking Celestia's tail. I did like that
yeah,
scene.
that was funny.
Also, if you notice, they're quite scuffed up in the scene as well, which it makes you wonder what the hell did they go through? Probably just some
Well, no,
slippery slope falling down a cliff and into a
I
tree,
fully
most likely.
believe that they fought Discord before and were unable to defeat him. That's why they had to come back with the elements of harmony. But
Yeah, they were going to
there was
try
there was
without.
probably a long, drawn out battle before that.
Yeah. And which actually, you bring up a valid point because the next flashback right after they destroyed Discord, in which he was eating seeds, by the way, which were obviously the plants and the whole thing, which is why it's his fault. And I have to point out, right when I saw that in the stream I was watching, I said, those are the plants attacking. And I was correct because I'm awesome. Now then,
Good.
moving on to the next flashback real quick because that actually brings up the point you guys brought up. They probably did fight Discord because if you look at this because if you look at this, they are scuffed up the same way they were when they approached Discord with the elements. And also they say specifically the tree harmony can sustain magic without the elements, and we need these to beat Discord. Well, not exactly like that quote worthy of the show, but the point of the matter is that's basically what they were saying.
Yeah.
So basically, I do believe you guys are correct in which they fought Discord beforehand. They realized they needed the elements because they probably heard of some old mare's tale or probably read that book that Twilight has in the library about
Yeah.
the miracle.
But that book in the book that she was reading came after she banished Luna, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, Celestia wrote the book.
So, I mean, there was no mare's tale about the elements of harmony. I don't know how they found the elements of harmony in the first place, but
Perhaps it will be revealed with that magical box of wonders.
Possible. I really want to know what that box is. Like, what could it possibly be?
well,
It's
we
gonna
had to
be.
wait through all of season
You know
3
what
to
it's gonna
find out
be?
what was the deal
Celestia
with the book.
intentionally put that there, and it's gonna be like tickets to the Grand Gala.
Congratulations, you've won. Wow.
You get to go to the gala, which is horrible every year.
Except the year you guys went, I want you guys to go again. I
Yeah.
want to find
It's like the
creative
weirdest way
way.
of asking someone to come again to the gala. It's like, I promise it'll be better this time. Here's a box that you had to go around the whole world to find the keys for.
Exactly.
Look how much fun it'll be.
Look how much fun it'll be. Anyways, after that, as we recapped, they went to the forest. I was hoping they'd be attacked right away because those vines were really giant. They just kind of went to the forest. You know, they were fending off a few plants here and there. Then the crocodile came because Twilight's not that smart, and she walked on top of it because it looked like rocks. In which I don't understand why she didn't one go around or two fly over the pond.
Yeah.
Well, she could have, but
It
she
was the
says, "Oh,
other.
we can cross here."
Yeah, it was like the other people as well because they couldn't all cross.
Yeah, they
Even
couldn't all
so, I
fly.
wouldn't trust a bunch of rocks on a little pond.
Yeah,
That's
you
just
do have
my.
to be slightly more careful. If they were wet rocks, then I wouldn't have trusted it because wet rocks will
They
just
were
slip
right.
off.
They looked wet as well.
That
Plus
has
the
been
fact
the
that they were
making of
like
many a
tiny.
YouTube video where someone has fallen in the water.
Exactly.
Anyway,
But and she should know. I think she was in that pond before with Zecora when they were doing the Jedi training.
it looked like a river.
Point of the matter is that Twilight obviously ran away, like we said before, in which I don't understand why she didn't shoot a laser horn at it or run to the left or to the right, because no one seems to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Or heck, she could have stabbed it with her horn.
I don't think
It
that
Which, by the
stabbing
way,
something.
Hard. I don't think she was gonna be
Yeah,
able to do
it's
that.
got scales. I don't think you can
yeah,
stab
this is
that
true.
very easily.
But I was gonna say
Plus,
though,
it looked
with
like it
her
was made of
horn,
rock.
if you pay attention towards the end of the episode, her horn actually grew 3 times that day. No, it just grew. It's longer than it used to be. If you pay
Really?
attention, yes, it is. It has grown a little bit. You can notice it starts to narrow out like the other alicorn's horns did.
Wow, I did not notice that.
I noticed that because I got bored.
Well,
So
time to go back and watch the episode again.
I know I gotta rewatch it again. But anyways, again, plot convenience for friends safer, and they happen to use all the branches, which the branches seem to be doing more good than anything else because they seem to be using them to lasso the plants up themselves or this crocodile thing, and they happen to work because they're almost indestructible. And
Apparently
poor
so,
Granny
yeah.
Smith almost lost her teeth.
I like Big Mac trying to get the.
That was
weeds out of
funny.
that.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
Peter
actually
New
really
over here.
funny. I remember
Peter
watching
New
that and
has
thinking
the
that was
easiest
hilarious.
job on the show.
Yep. Nope.
That's all he has to. He goes in the recording booth, says, "Yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope,
Yeah.
yep," and then runs
Occasionally
away.
he gets some really good dialogue. Well, I say really
You mean
good.
that
Really
one
good
scene that we
in
had?
relative to what Big Mac normally says, but then yeah,
I'm
most of the
still
time
waiting
it's
for
not.
Princess Big Mac.
Princess Big Mac. Yeah,
Yes.
that's your
You know what?
one for the next.
I am also wondering. We have gotten some history. I do exploit more because again, they go back to the old castle the princess used to live in the next one, Castlevania.
Yeah.
Yay names! And I'm wondering though, do they ever go over the origins of Princess Celestia and Luna and how they how they came alicorns, how they became alicorns?
I'm sure they might go into it eventually. We might have to wait until further
Season
seasons,
12.
Yeah.
or maybe they'll never go over it. But
Yeah, they might never go.
50-year anniversary, people. That'll be that.
Jeez, no, not a 50-year anniversary. Have
We'll
to be
be
going
dead.
for
only
ages.
Doctor Who can do that. Anyway,
We won't be dead in 50 years, Al.
Wait, we will?
maybe
just be
you will.
old.
I won't.
Yeah, you'll just be very old.
Apparently,
50
he's just.
years, that's like 70.
I was going to say, I'll be
74.
90 in 74 years, so
Wait, what?
yeah.
Wait,
No,
we
I'll be
said 50
74
years.
in 50 years.
You'll be 74 in 50 years.
I'll be 70 in 50 years. I'll be younger. I can go over to your place and kick you while you're in your wheelchair.
No, you won't be that. Wait, you're older than me, though, Al.
I am. I'll be 70 in 50 years. How old
Yeah,
will
so
you
I'll
be?
be younger.
No, he was talking
I-
to me though.
I know. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
When I'm 90, it'll be 74 years until I'm the age of 90.
Why are you concerned with the age of 90?
I don't know, because that's probably when I'll die.
No,
Nice and
because
morbid.
by that time the
It's
average
just
lifespan would be
morbid.
like 150.
Yeah. I was going to say
Speaking of
the
morbid,
children who are being born today are likely to live past 100, like to 120 and stuff, because of all
well,
theoretically at least.
Anyway,
Well, I have to point
we're
out there's
getting off topic.
a little bit. I do have to point out that the oldest woman in the world is 116 years old and quite healthy. She is has understandable speech and dialogue. You can talk with her on a day-to-day conversation. However, she sleeps about 16 hours of the day, if not more.
Hamsters do that.
Yeah.
And I do that right now, so I should be okay.
But anyway, she's actually very healthy. She just avoided soda and eats fruits and vegetables and a healthy diet all her life is what
Did
she
you know
did.
that only recently people have started sleeping for 8 hours? Like, people used to sleep for a lot longer, but it's because we're so busy nowadays that we only sleep about 8. That's the recommended one for now. Like,
Whatever. I
now.
get like 5 hours of sleep at night. and
yeah,
that's
I
it.
get very, like,
Yeah.
on some days I get barely any sleep. I get like a couple of hours of sleep, and other days I get ridiculous amounts of sleep, like 16 plus hours of sleep.
Yeah. Also, I have to point out that scientists have also started saying that 4 hours of sleep in the sequence. So like, if you have 4 hours of sleep one time, wake up for a little bit, and then sleep for another 4 hours is healthier than a total of 8 hours sleep. Which I would think just sleeping straight 8 hours.
That's
is
because.
better.
Well, yeah. Well, 8 hours is recommended. If you can't get 8 hours of sleep, then they recommend 4 because that's how long it takes to get through a full sleep cycle.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, back to the story, in which right after the whole crocodile thing, which Twilight could have easily used her magic to destroy, like she did the plant later, which was, I don't know, just her expression when she killed that plant. She just looked like she was just fed up with everything in the world and just want to kill something.
Yeah.
Or that, or she was stoned. Um, Anyways, after the whole crocodile thing, he's like, "Hey, you should not be here because this thing just tried to eat you." She's
Yeah.
like, "No, I can help, even though I'm not helping." And they're like, "Yeah, get out." And so she does, in which Discord sends her back right away, which we discussed. I have to say, I can understand their wanting of her to go because of the whole royalty thing. However, counter argument to that, she is one of the most powerful alicorns in Equestria. Ponies, I should say, not powerful because she's the weakest alicorn
She's a
more than
power
like
pony. Well, okay.
power
No, that's
pony.
another episode for another time.
Exactly. But I have to say, it seems like she's one of the more powerful ponies in Equestria, and they just sent her away.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a
I
good
understand the
idea.
whole royalty thing. Even so, I mean, oh well. I mean, like they should know that she should be fine. She's a princess. She's sent the dog thing back to Hades,
She went
essentially.
down with Cerberus to the underworld. Like, I
Left him
think she should
there.
be
Said, "Here's your
okay.
dog back, Hades. Thank you, Twilight. I'll see you
Yeah.
sometime soon." Wait,
She
what?
went to Tartarus and the Ivory Gates. Like, not many people do that on a daily basis anyway, so she should be okay. And she wasn't even an alicorn then.
No, exactly.
She just went down there anyway.
Anyways, the whole plant started attacking, in which so Spike climbs up a tree to go look and sees, plot convenience, there it is, and there they all are, and looks back and Twilight's being attacked. Spike leaves her for all of 2 seconds, and Twilight is being attacked, so maybe her friends were onto something.
Maybe it wasn't such a good idea for her to come anyway. Maybe they were right.
Exactly. Because again, maybe her friends were onto something, because she seems to have lost the ability to defend herself.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was sleeping gas that they were pointing at. Like, I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
Oh, I would. It's called shears, hedge clippers.
I know, but if they're making you go to sleep, it's kind of difficult.
It's
It's not
called a
sensible.
gas mask, holding your breath a really, really long time.
Now, see, there's a problem with both of those. One, it's difficult to hold your breath for a really, really long time, and also, two, you don't have a gas mask.
How do you know?
Well, why would you think to bring a gas mask?
You never know in case of emergency. That's obviously why I would bring it. Why do you? It's like there's people who prepare for the end of the world. That's why I have a gas mask in a cellar full of tons of food that'll last for decades upon end.
Yeah, but that's in a cellar, isn't it? It's not with you.
She has. Surely she can reach. Surely she can have like a magic bag, like Timmy Turner had in the movie. I'm getting off topic again.
A magic
Um,
bag.
well,
Okay.
it's a magic bag of infinity, and she can put whatever she wants in there, and it'll just hold anything in existence, even the
Right.
world. I caught the Earth one time while fishing. Point of the matter is, it might have been some rocks. But, anyways, her friends come to save the day, which was, of course, a little bit cheesy. And for some reason, Rapplejack had the most dynamic scene in which she just, like, lassoed one. Everyone else was just running around tying them into a knot. That was about it.
Best thing to do.
And then, of course, Twilight shot one, which is probably my favorite scene in the whole thing. Just because the way she shot that thing, I just love her expression. Just like fed up with everything. I don't know why. I just love it. It's hilarious to me. Anyways, I feel that the getting rid of the elements of harmony will be very interesting and probably bring about an overarching plot, which we haven't had yet in the My Little Pony series at all. Unless you count the gala, which we discussed before. I think in the last
Yeah.
video we recorded about our blind review of it.
Yes.
By review, I mean our thoughts on the season.
Yeah, you mean our thoughts, but they're close enough.
Okay.
Um,
Anyways, I feel to bring about a very interesting dynamic to the whole thing because again, there goes the trump card that they've used every other episode in the opening or finales, and I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see where they go with this because again, they have to find keys. I'm hoping the keys are all over Equestria, that or it's going to be some wild goose chase because they don't exist. After all, the thing did just appear out of the Tree of Harmony.
the
It
trio
turns out
harmony.
the Tree of Harmony is just a practical joker.
Yeah.
It is just a massive, giant poison joke plant is all it is.
Yep.
Clearly. Anyways, I do feel again that'll bring about an interesting dynamic. I have to point out again though, the Tree of Harmony. I don't have to point out again. I'm pointing out for the first time. Tree of Harmony symbols. It has Luna's moon towards the base, the celestial sun, as you go up the trunk a bit more, and the branches can be represented as the main six. And the top of the whole thing is Twilight's magic, which is just very interesting. So it makes me wonder: is Cadence on that tree, or will she be on that tree at some point? So it
Probably
would be
not,
very...
because she doesn't count. No, okay.
She
I
has the
thought it was
power
funny.
of
There
love.
was a comic. There was a comic that I was looking at by Pixel Kitties where they had that tree in there, and then at the bottom of the tree was that picture of Simba that Rafiki draws in The
Yeah.
Lion King.
Yeah.
I get it.
I thought it was funny.
Anyways, going back to Discord. After that, my thoughts. Let's see. Discord dressed up as a maid.
That
Um,
happens, yeah.
it happens, and he thinks about things which more than like which I like how they actually brought it up that he thought about that stuff. And they're like,
You thought about
no,
things, did you just say? That's not very
yes.
specific, but okay.
Well, I mean, taking over against things because the elements of harmony are gone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then he thought about stuff, in which, maybe that'll turn into some plot point where maybe he'll like secretly work out revenge and lie to Fluttershy even more.
Yeah. Find out next time whether he does any of those things.
Yeah, overall in the episode, I enjoyed it. It was definitely entertainment quality. I do feel a little bit that the characters were out of character a little bit. Wow, beautiful English.
Great, that was just brilliant.
I know.
I don't
I
really
do feel.
know. I don't think that I can't really.
Yeah.
Well, what do you like? Give examples, I guess, because I'm trying to like picture it.
Well, I mean, a little bit out of character again, just because, like, I don't know. Pinky felt overly done. I feel also like with some of her lines, I felt she was a little bit over the top. Pinkie Pie, for what little lines she had. Fluttershy didn't even speak throughout the most of the whole thing, so I can't even tell what her character development has been, other than the fact that she's still being lied to by Discord,
Yeah,
which is fairly normal. Applejack seems to be the taking. It seems to me that Applejack is taking charge of the other five as Twilight has become princess. If you kind of notice that, she seems to be taking the role of leader, which fits her character.
yeah, I can see that a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, so it seems to me that she has been a bit over concerned and everything like that. And Rainbow Dash just wants to punch things, which is I feel a little bit out of character. It's not always about
well,
you think
no,
she
I
learned
think
from the
Rainbow Dash
dragon.
is pretty like that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. She's just awesome. Um, Rarity didn't have a lot of lines, but she was screaming and running, which yeah, I can't really say much. Again, it's might not necessarily be that they're out of character. It might be a little bit more of they aren't really represented in this episode entirely. They are to some degree, of course. You do learn about the character still, but even so, I feel that it was a bit lacking in the character department, development wise, a little bit, not much though. Like there was definitely some with the whole Princess Twilight thing and the getting rid of the elements of harmony and Applejack realizing, this. Well, the only thing that keeps it together. Actually, you all live in the same town, so
Yeah.
as long as the town doesn't burst into flames, season 4, episode 5, it burst into flames. Oh,
Oh, and the town's gone.
we
Yeah.
have nothing now. No, we have our friendship. Then they all burn.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
friendship.
Okay. But yeah.
It's like Six Week Rainbow all over again.
Oh God. Bad story. Anyway, more important
Anyways,
than
overall, I
that.
like the episode. Very entertaining. I love the fight scenes. I like the past stuff, and I want more past. It's demanded by me and myself.
You want it post haste.
Post haste. Forsooth.
Delivered to your door.
Yes. A lamb, meek, okay? Love that line. Anyways, Rabbit, how about your opinions? Because I have to get going in a bit, so.
Yeah. Well, I think that the episode so far is pretty good. I quite like it. I guess the only the best bit for me was definitely the Alicorn fight because that was just cool. And I thought it was quite well done. Although I do think Celestia kind of like tricked Twilight quite a bit with that whole oh, I'm dying. Oh wait, no, I'm not.
Oh, I'm dying. Not really.
Well, it was
But
like
it turns out the whole
she
plant thing
waited
was
until
produced by
Twilight.
Celeste.
She waited until Twilight had started crying. Was like, actually, no, I'm going to get up now. I know it was
Yeah,
in the past, but she must have done that deliberately.
exactly. Just so Discord could get that footage on his paper.
Yeah. They were in cahoots the whole time.
Yeah,
But
they're all in cahoots. This whole thing, like literally, like Celestia and Luna pretended to get kidnapped by the planets because they weren't killed, so Discord spared them, and they just set up this whole elaborate ruse thing. And turns out Twilight's in the mental hospital, just dreaming of everything. Wait, that sounds like a fan fiction.
Right. Okay. My point is that I thought it was a good episode. I think it kind of the conflicts were resolved a bit too quickly, but I realised I've only got. Although to be fair, they had longer than a normal episode because they made it into two, but they didn't really capitalize on that as well as they could have. I don't think.
Yeah. The thing about the My Little Pony episodes that I've noticed that they're kind of starting to do, the plots they're giving the episodes seem to be made for longer shows, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the way they're, because the plot, they only have so much time to do it, and the plots get resolved so quickly. It seems like the plots could easily be expanded over a longer period of time, and just worked out like that, like one episode.
The
If it
problem
was
I have is that the conflict, they spent the majority of the episodes setting up the conflict and only the very end sorting it out. And that's kind of what they do in Doctor Who to an extent, I guess, like just to name another program that does it.
But
it's
Doctor
more
Who's a bit
evenly
more intentional
spaced.
like
Yeah,
that.
it's more evenly spaced out in Doctor Who. Like they do it quite well there. Whereas this, it does seem a bit like
it's
they have the
intentional kind of
conflict.
mystery vibe to Doctor Who.
Yeah. Whereas here, it seems like they've got a kind of conflict that they spend the whole episode setting up, and then they solve it very quickly.
Yeah. Again, if this was like movie length, like maybe an hour long, if not a little bit longer, they could probably expanded this a lot more and therefore made it better.
Yeah. No, I think so. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Aside from that, what were other good bits in it?
Discord himself is very well portrayed.
Yeah, Discord was quite cool.
Yeah, all the visual comicalness with Discord worked out very well in the whole thing.
But yeah, it was quite a good episode. It probably wasn't the absolute best, but it was quite nice to see.
Well, it's in BT's top 5, so.
Yeah, well, it was quite nice to see Celestia and Luna's like backstory to an extent.
Yeah, and again, I would like to see their teen years, see what they were like.
I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see what they were when they were younger, like how they started out originally, as opposed to just how they defeated everyone. But
exactly, because originally, I'm pretty certain they weren't alicorns for all their life.
Yeah, they probably weren't, but it's possible they could have been. They could be the original ones.
Yes. See, what's going to happen is
I always thought that they were like unicorns that were ascended to alicorns.
Yeah, I guess
like Starsworld the Bearded, because he's like, you must protect Equestria, and Starsworld died, and he made them alicorns by doing so.
Did this ever actually happen, or is this?
I don't know. Also, these are the only 2 openers without songs. There is no singing in the entire episodes.
Which I was kind of disappointed with, because we know that Discord is going to be singing.
Wait, but there was no singing in the...
I just thought it was going to be this episode, but apparently it wasn't.
There's no singing in the Season 1 beginner, though, is there?
Yes, there is.
Is
yes,
there?
There is.
Giggle at the Ghosties.
Oh, yeah, that's a very short one. But yeah, that's true. I always forget about that one. Because it's so short, but yeah, that's one.
There was no singing this entire one, which I felt a little bit gypped. I did like that Discord said, I hope she sings, and I'm like, that would be very interesting. And I picture her singing as Celestia and Luna are fighting battle, and she's like, in this sense, they're fighting over there, and I'm over here. I have no idea what's going on.
I think that would be a little bit contrived to put a song in there. I think it kind of works well that they didn't put a song in that respect, because it's kind of like if they had, it wouldn't have really fitted.
Yeah, again, they have to get more plot driven out in this.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be like it was quite emotionally charged, I think, with the whole like Celestia banishing Luna thing, because she was like all cryy and everything like that. But whereas if they put a song in, it might have kind of lightened the mood too much.
Perhaps, but again, it is just a season opener for the most part.
Yeah, there'll be plenty more songs to come, I'm sure. I mean, Megan McCarthy's always tweeting.
We already know about Apples to the Core and Journey to the Spark Me song.
Well,
that's not part of Pony.
Not to mention, they mentioned that there's like 25 or something songs that they said were going to be in this season, and it's the most Daniel Ingram's ever done for a single season.
Yeah.
Even holy crap muffins in China. There's only 26 episodes in the season. We've already been through 2, so there's going to be episodes with multiple songs in them. Heck,
well, we already know that there's going to be the Pinkie Pie episode that's going to be another musical
that has
episode.
Apples to the Core in, yeah. So we know about that one already, but
yeah. Makes you wonder if they're doing another musical number.
Yeah, I'm sure they will do. I mean, that would be interesting to see that, to like what's to come musically wise. But yeah, it was an alright episode. I quite liked it.
BT moved it to his top 5. He loved it. He
Wait,
wants to
BT
marry
Yeah.
Celestia.
wait, BT liked it?
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
he loved it.
Wow,
it's a top
that's
five.
Celestia's top 5. Celestia's his favorite pony of all time, beating Pinkie Pie. I'm like, but Pinkie fell downstairs for you, which was comical. Like, how do we get down? And you just hear this in the background, and then she's at the bottom of the stairs waving her hoof. I found stairs!
I'm glad that they put Luna in the intro again. Like I'm happy that they put Luna in the intro finally.
That was the highlight of the whole thing.
Because that was a long time coming. As I say, 3 seasons, and they only just decided to make her one of the characters that actually appears in the intro. Zakora appears as well, so maybe she's getting more of a role. So I'm guessing if they're in the intro, that means that they're getting more of a role.
The mayor was in the intro, too. So.
But yeah, she might as well. You never know.
I mean, heck, that squirrel was in the intro again, too, and I don't think he's going to get more major role.
Who was?
The squirrel. That's
Yeah,
why,
but
like,
the squirrel, like, when did the squirrel? Which squirrel are we even talking about? Because they're.
the one in the intro.
Yeah, where is it though?
Fluttershy gives it an apple.
That's Angel.
That's Angel. That's not a squirrel.
What the hell am I thinking of then?
I don't know. And also, yeah, like if there was a squirrel, it'd probably just be a background thing that shows that Fluttershy takes care of animals. It wouldn't be because it's going to be in the episode.
It's going to be in the episode. Actually, technically, Angel Bunny was in the episode. He was in the Grand Cottage of Fluttershy's.
Well, I know he was, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to be departing now. Enjoy the end of the review. I'm sorry to say that you will be without my beautiful voice and picture of Gummy staring at you and the upper part of your
I'm
computer
sure we'll
screen.
miss it.
It's staring at you and the upper part of your computer screen, so. It's
Yeah.
sticking up. Yeah. At any rate, I shall now be departing. People, I have been lazy, and I'll talk to you all later. Adios.
Yeah, he
All
has
right,
been.
so I guess that means it's my turn to talk about exactly what I thought about the episode.
No, it's not. It's Lightning's turn.
No,
Ah!
I've just finished. I'm fine.
Yeah, oh, really? That was short. Okay, bye.
But yeah, there wasn't really much because, like, it does feel short after you, AR, because your one, like, your thoughts were very expansive, and mine were very, like,
Plus, I did
not.
recap a little bit as well, so it was like a double recap take. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So yeah.
So, first of all, I wanted to talk about the intro as well, just like AR did. But I actually liked it, and I mentioned that a little bit so far. Is that I thought that the way that they changed it, even though it was a fairly brief change, I thought that it was good enough for, the opening.
Yeah.
They added some more characters that have been added over the past 3 seasons. Photo finish was in it, which I thought was kind of interesting. And they were just able to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the episode itself, there were a couple things that I really enjoyed. I liked seeing Discord again. Like I said, when he's saying when to wrap up, that was a really cool shout out to previous episodes.
Yeah.
And let's see here. One thing that I don't think we've mentioned yet, and that I really wanted to talk about, was the difference in animation. There were 2 separate parts. One when they were in the castle looking at the stained glass, and one when they were in the castle when Twilight was during the flashback with Celestia and fighting Nightmare Moon. The lighting,
Oh,
the
they
way
did some
they
amazing
animated the
jobs with
lighting.
Lighting. Yeah.
The way they animated the lighting in those 2 scenes was really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen them do that before.
Yeah.
Because the moonlight gave them a specific lighting, and the light coming through the stained glass gave them interesting lighting, and it seemed really really good. And I don't remember them doing that previously.
Yeah, they've done it. Oh, sorry, they've done it. They did it once before, I believe, when they've been in that room before with the stained glass windows.
But I
The
don't know.
Scott episode.
I don't
It
know if
wasn't
it
as
was
good,
quite as
but
good though.
no, it wasn't
So
as good. No.
they've definitely increased the animation quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then also there was I guess the fight scene was really cool because you know Alicorn's fighting is just awesome. Um,
Of course.
but the overall feel of the episode, it just felt like it was a lot. I want to say darker.
Yeah, it was. Like, they had Celestia getting, like, shot, basically, is what it comes down to, which I wasn't expecting them to put in, to be honest, because that's a little bit, you know, seeing her actually getting shot by her sister. It's a little bit,
Right. And you know they had that scene with you know Twilight crying over her body or whatever
yeah,
and
yeah, that's actually pretty dark the way you think about that.
um you know and he obviously shouldn't die or anything like that but you know it's
Yeah,
still this is supposed to be a kid show and this is it was just yeah it was different
definitely.
not really what I expected but anyway I wanted to also note that the plants that were attacking Twilight. I do remember where I've seen those before.
All right.
Um, and so I finally I don't know if this is a great picture. And you don't need to show it on the um on the thing, but I'll link it to you real quick.
Right.
Um, it was I've seen these plants in an anime before. Have you ever seen Yu Yu Hakusho?
It sounds very vaguely familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
There was a point in time where one of the characters um is supposed to be kind of like a druid character and is really good with plants and stuff like that, and he actually uses plants to fight. And there was one episode where he actually summons these plants that look exactly the same, literally exactly the same as the ones um, where um, that were in the episode.
Oh yeah, they look really similar actually, with like the little mouth part and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, they're not exactly the same, I guess, but they're very, very similar. Um, so, but that, yeah, so I was that was one thing that was really bothering me, and so I wanted to make sure I knew where that was from. So that's what I was thinking of when I saw those plants.
Yeah.
Um, I really like the crocodile. I'm glad that they, you know, that they added some more dangerous creatures and stuff like that. You know, similar to like the Timberwolves and stuff like that. It's just more creatures to add to the things in the Everfree Forest.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I was kind of disappointed with was that the Tree of Harmony um, didn't necessarily change anything, you know, to the Everfree Forest itself.
Mm.
Like it destroyed all the vines or whatever, but I mean, it didn't change anything besides that.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Like, I'm still not entirely sure why the tree went all the way to Canterlot and captured the princesses. Did it really need to do that at all?
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing too. Why were the vines after the princesses? Unless, I mean, well, I guess they
Because
were
their
the
job
seeds
was
that
to, like,
were sowed by Discord.
yeah, so it probably would have gone for them.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense that they would go for them. I don't know why they were held captive at the tree,
Yeah, I don't know whose idea that was, but
but yeah,
mm,
there was just a lot of stuff in this episode that really was kind of like it came out of nowhere. like I said before, the potion thing was kind of like, I don't know why she even has this potion.
Yeah,
She can't use it,
what
and it
point does
doesn't.
it have?
It seems to be kind of like a,
It's like, oh yeah,
Deus
I
Ex
kept this
Machina.
in the event of, yeah, it's a little bit kind of out of the blue.
Um, Going again on the animation, what they did with the sky being half day, half night, that was done really well. Um,
Yeah, I do like the animation in this episode. I think it's gotten a lot better.
yeah. I also want to say that I'm really excited for any kind of overarching story that this makes for the season. I know you've all been saying that.
Yeah,
I want to say that I'm also interested in that. I'm wondering if it's going to be more than it was for season one, where obviously they got the tickets in episode three, went to the gala at the during the finale, and there were intermittent episodes where they were like, kind of getting ready and stuff like that.
yeah,
This one, I'm hoping that there's more, like every episode they're referencing it at least. Obviously, like the Darien Do episode and the Power Ponies episode, they're probably not necessarily, looking for these keys, but they might reference it, talk about it at some point in time.
yeah. I hope the whole series isn't filled up with them just doing that, but at the same time, I do want them to expand on it more and
And
talk some
there's
more about it.
probably at least going to be 6 different episodes where they find a key.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And will they be character centric episodes? Like each character finds one key.
Yeah,
Each of her friends.
and what do
So
they have to do to find the key? Is it just hidden somewhere, or do they have to overcome something as
some
opposed to
kind
just
of
going for
trial or
it?
something like that.
Yeah, to
I
get
mean,
the key.
this is like the plot of every video game ever.
Yeah,
It's like okay, here's your quest is to collect these keys. Oh, by the way, for each one you're gonna have to fight monsters and overcome puzzles, and there's gonna be a boss, and yeah.
yeah, and there's going to be a boss, so yeah, deal with that. Yeah, well, that's basically how games work in general, isn't it? It's, oh, right, okay, go and fight X person or overcome X challenge to get reward.
Right. Which in this case is the keys.
Yeah,
Um, so
it's just what
there,
they have to do to get them that's interesting.
so I'm kind of hoping that like maybe on the musical episode that centers around Pinkie Pie, there will be a key in that episode. Rarity's episode, which I believe is supposed to be the Manhattan episode.
Yeah,
Maybe there'll be a key there. And then Rainbow Dash has an episode, Fluttershy has an episode, and then Applejack has an episode or whatever, and they all find a key on
yeah,
their
they'll all have their own.
specific character-centric episode.
Yeah, because I mean, there's 26 in all, I think, weren't there, episodes in this series, so they should have plenty of time to find the right. Or they should have plenty of time to give each character an episode where they can find their key.
Right. And I want them to be. I wonder if the keys are going to be colored,
Yeah, I imagine they
like
would be, but that's just me guessing.
color-coded keys based on whatever color the element was.
Yeah, well, the ponies are color coded, so
Well, yeah, but I mean the elements were a certain color as well, and
yeah.
it's like Rainbow Dash was not a specific color for her, but her element was red. So
So
I don't.
hopefully the key will be red as well, but it might not be.
Right. Anyway, so that's a big thing. That was probably the biggest thing of the episode of the premiere, is that it set up all of season 4. Now, there's still with 26 episodes, you're still able to have the intermittent episodes that are just kind of for fun, that maybe teaches a lesson. But like for example, Wonderbolt's Academy really didn't have any effect on anything, but it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
I heard there was supposed to be another Wonderbolts episode in season 4 as well. There was going to be a history of Wonderbolts or something like that. That was
oh yeah,
gonna be
Megan
going on.
McCarthy hinted. She was like, "Oh, so what are the Wonderbolts? Are they an air force or part of the army or just an aerobatic team?" And she was like, "Well, watch the new season to find out." So
Right, yeah. So
which would be
maybe
good
we'll
because
get
I'd
a
like
little
to know
bit
what
more
they are.
background there. And I think that's what I want more from season 4 is that they've already started. They've given us really good history lessons in the very first episode, and I want to see more backstory.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But overall, for the episode, as opposed to where it stands, for me, I don't know if it was in my top 5. I still believe that the Candlelight Wedding was better.
Yeah.
But this premiere was so much better than the season 3 premiere was, though.
Yeah. Which one was that? That was the one with Discord, wasn't it?
No, the season 3 premiere, the one with the Crystal Empire.
Oh yeah.
I actually don't know where it stands as opposed with the Discord episodes.
I think it's kind of on par. I can't really say that it was better or worse.
Right.
Because Discord was in it, so.
Well, Discord was in it. Kind of a small part relative to his other episodes, but
Yeah.
just the fact that he was there, it was really good though.
Yeah, it was good.
So I'm gonna say that it's probably around middle of the road.
Yeah,
when it comes to premieres and finales.
Yeah, it was very kind of middle of the road. It was pretty good. It definitely wasn't the worst, but it could probably have been a little bit better to be up against the best.
Well, and the other thing was when I heard about the Everfree Forest taking over, I was like, okay, well, who is doing it? Who's behind it? Who's the villain that they have to face? And there just wasn't one because it was just Discord from 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So there was no specific villain besides the plants themselves.
Yeah, there wasn't really. Which was interesting because normally, that's not often done necessarily.
Right.
It was something that I don't see very often actually. Yeah, is when you get right. Okay, so this is something that was supposed to happen 100,000 or whatever years ago, but it's only becoming a problem now. It's like climate change.
Right.
Yeah. Bit of a random, simile there, or metaphor there.
But yeah, I think that's all that I needed to go over for my thoughts for the episode.
Yeah, I think that's everything for me.
So we can kind of finish up here a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess until next week when we review the next episode which comes out, which is whatever it is. I can't remember.
Indeed.
Right.
But stay tuned a little bit longer because we're going to have one last segment before the end of this episode.
Right.
And we will catch you guys next week for the next episode of My Little Pony. Make sure to tune in this Friday for To the End. And it has been an absolute pleasure to have you guys sitting in listening to us.
Yeah. When you
We'll
say us,
guys.
you mean us, not you.
Yeah, I mean you too. But they're going to be hearing me for the next 20 minutes. So
yeah.
they're going to hear from all of us pretty darn soon.
Yeah.
But again, thanks so much for listening. Stay tuned. We're not quite done yet. But thank you for listening to Firebolt and Lightning's thoughts on the episode, as wrong and stupid as they are.
Lovely.
All right. See you guys in a second.
Bye, I guess.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to the End-to-End Sideshow. I'm your host, Duhad, and I'm here to talk about Season 4's premiere. I'm not doing it with the main group because of stupidity involving recording schedules and some problems with getting things recorded on the days that they normally would have been recorded on. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. What is here and there now, because there is then and then was in the past, which is when Season 4's premiere happened as of when you're hearing this. So, Season 4
of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic came out this week, past week, depending on when you're actually hearing this, probably past week, possibly even months ago if you're, for some reason, looking through the archives. I don't know. I can't tell the future. I don't know who you are. I don't know who I am. What is going on? Anyway, what is going on is talking about Season 4's premiere, which we're actually finally going to do. Sorry. So, we're all looking forward to Season 4 for forever. Yeah, we've been, had the longest hiatus from, between any season from 3 to 4 because of the shortened length of Season 3 and the, yeah, so, Season 4 finally coming out has been a pretty big deal. And something that a lot of us have really been hoping will reinvigorate the fandom after the long drought. So, was Season 4's premiere good enough to justify those hopes and expectations? Personally, I say yes. I don't think Season 4's premiere was flawless. Far from it. I think there were actually a number of points in it that I really was not a huge fan of. But overall, the good far outweighed the bad, and there was a lot more good there than bad. Like, the good parts were really good, and there was a lot more of that than there was bad. Though I will admit that actually right from the get-go, I was kind of not loving it. I don't know if it was just how long it's been since I rewatched Season 3. I rewatched Season 1 shortly before the season premiered. But I don't know, for some reason the voices sounded some of the voices sounded a bit off. Like, the voice actresses were not quite in the right headspace that they had been in before, so that their voices were just a tiny bit off. That evened out as the episode continued, but I don't know, right at the beginning felt a little bit weird to me. But maybe I'm just, crazy. Maybe I'm just projecting. Either way, that quickly, wasn't as huge a fan of that. I was a big fan of the fact that in the beginning, Twilight was shown as being not a very capable flyer, and they actually continued that theme, which is something I appreciate. It's logical that the character would not actually be able to fly if you only learned how to fly, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago? I don't know what the time frame actually is, but it can't have been that long. I remember actually reading in a number of places, like, people going like, oh man, you just know that's going to be, like, the series begins and she's going to be flying around, it's going to be perfect. And, that's going to be ruined and stupid. But that wasn't, and I appreciate that. I think that was a really good thing. And now this actually segues into what I think is probably the episode, the two-part episode's greatest strength, and in a lot of ways its greatest weakness, and that is the character of Twilight. Now, obviously, a lot of people were concerned that the changes at the end of S3 meant that the character was going to be severely altered, or that their position within the group was going to be very changed. And I really think that Season 4's intro really did a great job in essentially saying, look, this is a new status quo. This is not something that's just been swept under the rug and ignored. It is a thing. But it's also not a thing that is going to permanently and severely alter the nature of the show and its cast. She's portrayed as being very similar to the character she was before. She's a little bit different, but she's pretty much the same character we all know and love, just slightly grown up. That's a good thing. That's really good. And I think Tara Strong is still, one of the stronger voice actresses on the show. I love all the voice actresses, obviously. But she's definitely, she's definitely a very solid voice actress, and she's, still knocking out of the park with the character. That, though, also runs into what I think is probably the episode's weakest inherent element. There are a couple of weak scenes and stuff, but the weakest inherent element is, like Season 3's finale, and sort of like the other premieres, but the thing is, like, each of the premieres has fairly strong bits for all the characters, with Twilight kind of being the main character. This one and the Season 3 finale were pretty much entirely just, it's Twilight's show. It's just her. And with how well they did in making it, so that we realize that her ascension isn't going to change the dynamic of the show, in that her character isn't going to be like, the super awesome Mary Sue leader, it doesn't help that they pretty much shoo all the other characters to the side. None of the other characters really do all that much independently. They have a little bit with each of them dealing with the really creepy. I actually really like the evil Everfree. They had a little bit with each of them dealing with the tentacles in their own way. I like that. Those were all really good little bits. But that was pretty much all they did. The only other character who had any substantial role outside of those little vignettes was Applejack, and really her character pretty much boiled down to being, I don't even know, like, she sort of is the... I think in a lot of ways she's actually kind of turning into the Lancer, which if you read TV tropes, the Lancer is, in the idea of the five-man band, the set of 5 to 6 characters who fall into certain archetypes, so like the leader, the second command, the big guy, etc., etc., etc. The Lancer is the sort of the secondary leader, the person who is kind of the right-hand man, or possibly the antagonistic right-hand man to the actual group leader. And in this episode, especially, Applejack really kind of turned into that, and that's good. Except I think she actually works well in that role. Except that the thing she did in this episode was mostly just be like, oh, we're all friends together, but I'm going to be the voice of reason on something that is inherently not what people want. Like, I want you to not be part of the group, Twilight, and to be the character that no one wants you to be. And since she's the only member of the main 6, apart from Twi, who's actually getting some substantial screen time, making her the proponent of the, reasonable but stance that no one else wants is not great. It's not great. It really does not help that, like, the only member of the main 6 who's proving that it's not just the Twilight show is trying to turn it into the Twilight show. It's like, I don't know. It just seemed a bit wonk to me. But anyway, on from the bad into the good. They didn't actually have a new villain this episode, which I remember being upset about when I first heard it, that they weren't going to have a new villain for the premiere. However, loved the Everfree as a villain. The ongoing Cthulhuoid tentacle monster things, crawling all over the place, taking over. Like, the introduction of the Everfree is, like, once again being a properly dangerous, scary place. The giant stone gator monster, like, that was all cool. The plants that spray you with knockout gas, and, like, dude, that's all creepy and well designed, and I liked all of that. That was really cool. In fact, it's a better villain than Sombra. Without introducing a new villain, we've already got a better main villain for this season than we've had last season. Oh god, that's terrible. Speaking of which, also another good point, Discord. I really enjoyed the way he was used in this episode, or in this two-parter. They kind of are going more with the Q route, which I approve of. Like, a lot of people were worried when they did Keep Calm that it was sort of the end of Discord as an antagonistic character, that he was ruined forever. And while he's no longer a directly villainous character, I do actually like the idea of him as being someone who's not a villain, but being just kind of a jerk. Like, a decent... like, someone who's on the side of good, but who's also still just kind of a... no, I don't want to say kind of a, where I'm trying to use, but he's a jerk. And that's good. It's good to have a character who is, in that moral gray area. And for a kid's show, being someone who's legitimately kind of nasty without actually being villainous is a substantial gray area. And I like that. I think it was a smart decision to go with that. And as I said before, it's kind of moving the Q route. It's kind of making him the omnipotent being who is there to sort of guide the protagonist, but also there to kind of antagonize them in a non-directly confrontational way. And yeah, that works. That is a good, put me down in camp. That's a good direction for them to go with Discord. Sorry. Also, it means we might get more John Delancey, and I am absolutely not having any sort of problem with John Delancey having more of a presence in the show. Also, he's saying Winter Atto. winter wrap-up, and that's awesome. Anyway, moving on from there, we have one or two last things I wanted to bring up, which is the Tree of Harmony. I don't know yet, but I imagine that's probably going to be a relatively controversial point because, well, I mean, we haven't gotten a real idea as to what exactly the elements were, where they came from, and having them be essentially parts of a giant plant was kind of a weird choice. But, I'm alright with it. Like, if it does end up being like a big thing, then, that's something, but personally, I don't see it as that much of an issue. I don't necessarily love the idea, but I also don't really have an issue with it. Okay. There is the princesses. Two things about the princesses. One, for the confrontation scene, I actually was pretty okay with it. I thought that was Luna's fall was actually really well done. That felt actually very natural to Lauren Faust's original design. It does kind of go against what the second comic arc established, with the idea that like Luna was possessed by moon monsters, and that's what caused her to fall. And while you could still argue that isn't totally invalidated, it does kind of seem like it's going back to Lauren Faust's original idea, which was that Luna wasn't possessed by darkness, that she just sort of fell to her own inner darkness, that it's more of that essentially she did that to herself, not that she was externally, forced into it. And I like that. I prefer the idea of her as a tragically flawed character rather than a victim of circumstance. Anyway, the other thing with that is I do know that while I wasn't there on the main sitting, I did hear Cabral saying before the show started that he and Firebolt were debating what they thought about the time frame, with Cabral saying that he thought that it should have been longer because of the fact that like not everyone knew about the legend and stuff, and it seemed like she wasn't that much of a threat. I disagree. I think that the moon suddenly moving up and blocking the sun is enough of an event that everyone's going to kind of notice that, and it ending quickly isn't really a huge issue. Plus, time. Unless they're going to do an entire episode devoted to that one story, it wasn't going to be any longer than that, and that's fine. So, the other thing was the princess's disappearance. I thought was actually a really clever twist. And my one problem with that was that I actually think it would have been best if, I don't know necessarily thinking back on it, if it would have honestly been the best move for them to make, but I kind of was hoping that they wouldn't have freed the princesses at the end of the episode, that obviously they would have to free them eventually, but I was thinking that something they could have done as a kid's show thing, as something that Hasbro could have done without it seeming too dark, or screwing with the formulas too much, or doing anything else that would make it like, no, you obviously couldn't do that, was to not have the princesses actually be rescued at the end of the episode, to have them continue to be missing and have sort of the hook of the season being, where are the princesses? Like, what happened to them? Where are they? What's Twilight going to do? Is she's filling in for them? Obviously, I don't want her just turning into the princess, but it would have been kind of interesting to, change the dynamic a little bit. Maybe have, like, Cadence take over as acting princess for the nation. Have, Twilight kind of focused on trying to find them. I don't know. It could have been interesting. But they didn't do that. Then, at the very end, they go from that possible season-long story arc to having the 6 Keys box thing, which, I don't know, like, the thing is, after going like, hey, you have this really interesting potential storyline in the form of the missing princesses, to then resolve that and then immediately just turn around and go, oh, no, we do have the mystery box. It's a box made of mystery with 6 keys that each of the elements are going to, obviously, in some way, find and together open. I don't think that's as interesting as the missing princesses, but I think there's a good and a bad way that they can handle that. The good way would be, over the course of the season, having individual episodes based on each of the elements, like each of the main characters, have them do things which result in them finding their own keys. Since obviously there's 6 keys. Each one's going to correspond to one of the characters, obviously. So a good way of doing that is each of the characters finds them in their own episodes over the course of the whole season, and then in like either the penultimate episode, like in like the season finale, be Twilight, because she's obviously going to be the last person to find her key if they do that. Twilight finds her own key, and then. And actually, with how many throwbacks they're doing to the premiere of season 1, I wouldn't be surprised if they find the keys in order of how they were originally discovered as elements. But final 2 episodes. First one, Twilight finds the key. Then they open the box, and that's like the cliffhanger for part 2, or and like it's saying evil, or they open. There's like a big thing, and the resolution to the 2-parter is opening the box. But obviously, the box is going to be the season premiere. The season finale. And as I said, the good way of doing that is have it so that it's an ongoing thing that they continue to work towards throughout the course of the season, having episodes, not like wholly devoted to that, but having individual episodes kind of work along that plot. Like have 5 of the, however like the 20 non-premiere / finale episodes involve different members of the main 6 finding them, and then end with Twilight. The bad way of doing that, and the way I'm afraid they might do it, really hoping they don't, but they might, is that it's basically almost completely ignored until the end of the season, and then suddenly it's like, oh, by the way, no, we have these keys. We're in the final 2 episodes. We just find all the keys, and then we open it, and that would be the same problem that I had with season 3's finale, where it's just sort of like, here's a problem that we've established, and it's really big and important, but now we're gonna resolve it in incredibly short order, because we've needed to establish a major threat and then resolve it and then do something else, and it all just ends up getting crowded and horrible. Hoping that doesn't happen, though. Hoping that doesn't happen. Anyway, so yeah, overall thoughts on the episode, really good. Really liked it. Loved the history bits. Liked a lot of the, liked what they did with Twilight. Didn't like so much what they did with the rest of the main 6. Wasn't as huge a fan of some of the new animation lighting choices they made, but I'm not too chuffed about those. Like the idea behind setting up a season-long arc. Not so... a little worried about what they actually will do in order to resolve it, but here's hoping. And... oh, final thought, real quick. The cane. I have no idea why the cane has become so freaking popular, but it has. That stupid cane that that Discord gives Twilight for like a scene has become stupid huge. And it's a funny cane, so shout out to the cane. If you listen all the way to the end here, then just say, by the way, I heard about the cane. And no prize. Going back to giving out no prizes. So, thanks so much for listening, and hopefully next week we will have a normal show. Wouldn't that be lovely? Okay, see you then.